October 16th, 2024. Welcome back to a chapter a day. Today I'm still in this book. If you've been following along with .com Secrets, Russell Brunson. Today we're talking into the attractive character. And this is actually like super loaded, super packed. So I'm going to divide this chapter into a couple videos because it has like so much information that I don't want to make a super long video. I want to hit some bullet points of what some really important things are in this book. The first thing is the attractive character is this kind of like persona that you have. And as like you build your business, like your attractive character is you. When you think of a particular business that you like, whoever like that spokesperson is the attractive character for the business. Russell Brunson is a perfect example of this. Like when you check out ClickFunnels, he is the attractive character. Apparently, ClickFunnels was actually created. The actual software was his partner, Todd Dickerson. But Russell Brunson is the attractive character, the one who is the face of the company. When people see any of the promotional materials, it's Russell Brunson. And so whatever it is you're selling, like for myself, I'm selling my sign language course. So I am the face on there, and on all my promotional materials will be me, so that people can start getting connected to me. And when they come into my funnels and my sales, my world, they will see videos of me. When they go onto social media, they're gonna see videos of me. So all of that to be said, like it'll be my personality, my attractive character that people will start connecting to and feeling this like closeness to, and then they build a trust even with my character, and then they are familiar with it. So when they see me on Instagram and they see my stuff and they might see it over and over and over again, finally they're like, oh, I clicked through, and then they come to my funnels, my sites, there I am again. It gives them a sense of comfort, being like, oh yeah, I know this. If it's a completely different person, that's really weird, right? Like that would really throw you for a loop. So you see this person, you see the ad, you see the character, you kind of connect with that, you click through, and now you're building more relationship with that character. And so the attractive character is not about being physically attractive. It's about the personality. It's about what, like who you are, right? And I heard it was said one time, it was like people want to be around other people that are like themselves or that they want to be like. And so essentially when you fashion your attractive character, which is you, it's you, but you're putting it out there. There's a formula that you can follow that will help you make it more like systematic, so that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing to attract people. So I'm going to touch on one part of that today. There's really a couple stories here from Russell Brunson. He was speaking, and Russell Brunson is a former wrestler. He wrestled at Boise State and did really well. And so when he was up there speaking and teaching, selling his program and talking about, I think he was talking about ClickFunnels, he would share stuff that he was a wrestler in high school. And when he made his pitch, and then he would say, okay, you guys can go to the back of the room and buy the program. He noticed that the majority of the people in the back were student athletes or people who were athletes in the past. And he thought that was interesting. He's like, well, I share my stuff about wrestling and all these different athletes from all different sports, but student athletes were going to the back buying it. Well, one day he's up there presenting and doesn't really know why, but he gets off on this kind of tangent and starts sharing about what's going on with him and his wife, who were struggling to have a baby. And so he's talking about the struggle and what they were going through, going to the doctor and trying to get pregnant. And then it was interesting. He said at the end of that, I made his pitch as normal and, let's go to the back of the room and sign up. And he noticed that the student athletes were still there because he still shared about being a wrestler. But then there was a whole other group of people, women, wives, mothers, who were out there. And he had this aha moment. He's like, whoa, I expanded my attractive character to share some of an aspect of my life that I didn't share before. And I attracted this whole other group of people that I apparently was leaving out. So your attractive character is about bringing people to you, okay? And so we're gonna talk about what some of the parts of the attractive character, some of the elements. Okay. Your first off is your attractive character always has a backstory. If you think about any good movie, books, any story, the main character has a backstory. And Russell says you should be telling your backstory so often that you're sick of it, because your clients, your customers, potential customers, they want to hear it. It makes you real and it connects you to them. So having a backstory, and this is something that you should practice and you should rehearse, especially how it can pertain to how you got to where you are, or where you're what your product is doing, right? Especially if it has that connection. But your backstory is super important. And if you notice any type of like sales calls, webinars, stuff like that, people always start with, this is how I got here. And this is vitally important. So I'll give you one of the things that I'm thinking about doing in the future is I want to be probably working in a network marketing company. That's mostly because I want to see if I can make it work. Like, I want to take it on as a challenge. And so part of my backstory is the fact that I'm here, I'm teaching, I want more, I'm desiring more. I've actually tried network marketing companies, I failed, and kind of sharing that journey so that people who have been like, yes, I've done them before. It doesn't work. I failed before. So why would I consider this? I want them to connect with me on that level. So sharing that backstory is super important, and it humanizes you, and you're not just that guy on the screen or that girl on the screen. You are like a real person who came up and from a particular background, and everyone who comes up in a similar background is going to totally relate with you. So backstory is super important. Attractive characters speak in parables. I guess probably the biggest, the best, most well-known person who attractive characters speak in parables, who? Jesus. That's right. I mean, I never even heard this story, this word out of the context of speaking about Jesus and Russell Brunson's book, because I don't know where else it is. But a parable, you tell a story that has a meaning, a similar meaning, right? An application. And so when you can do that, it becomes more engaging. People want to hear the story, people follow the story, and people remember the story so much more than like information, right? So for right now, I'm giving you information. I started off, and so does Russell Brunson. Every chapter of this book starts off with a story. I'm speaking, I'm teaching, I'm selling my program. I mentioned I'm a wrestler. All these student athletes go, right? Oh, now I talk about my wife and our infertility issues. And all of a sudden, I connect with all these other women, right? So there's a parable, there's a story about what's happening, because to highlight that the attractive character does these things. Fascinating. One super important thing, and this is what a lot of people are hesitant for mostly, is the character flaws. Every attractive character has character flaws. Everyone has character flaws, and if you try to hide it or make sure that no one knows you have character flaws, that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that you can do. People want to know that you are not perfect, that you are human, that you've made mistakes, that you've learned from your mistakes. And guess what? They relate more to you when they know that you've made a mistake. So it's actually super positive to say, hey, this is what happened to me, and I messed up here. Character flaws also make your attractive character believable, and it makes you interesting. And this is an interesting one. I guess a story from the book is you think about Superman, the Man of Steel. Superman is invincible. Well, if Superman did not have any weaknesses, it would be a fairly boring story. Here's a guy that no one can beat, that he's stronger, faster, and than everybody, and indestructible. Where's the story, right? The story doesn't get interesting until kryptonite is introduced, and now there's a weakness. Now there's a something that is wrong, that he's not totally perfect, right? So, and now all of a sudden the story becomes interesting. So when you share character flaws about your attractive character, you become more interesting. And the last one is polarity. Polarity is, there's a scale of polarity. On one end of polarity is boring, like if I spoke in monotone and I just gave you the facts, and that is so boring and no one wants to connect, no one will connect with that except for the few other boring people, right? But then on the other side of polarity, you have the out there super crazy wild person that you're like, that guy is a crazy guy. Who would follow that? And you're spouting off some crazy, I don't know, because let's just go with the conspiracy theory type stuff that most people who look at you be like, that guy's a nut job. There's no way I'm going to do business with that person. But there is a happy medium in between there where you say just enough to keep people interested and make them actually like question that and make them think. And this is a good place to be. You want to have enough polarity that you are going to turn some people away on both sides of the spectrum. Like you want people to be like, oh, no, that's too much. I'm not going to do that. Or like, oh, that's really interesting. I mean, like you want people to be drawn to you, and there has to be something a little different about you. And this is where polarity comes in. Another way to show polarity or to have polarity is it's like sometimes you got to give your opinion. You got to talk about some of the hard stuff. Now, I do want to say like you should be relative to what you are selling, okay, or whatever your business is. Like there's always going to be some sort of controversy somewhere in there. You know, like, oh, well, everyone says you should do this. No, you should do this. And when you can come across with talk about some of those hard issues that there are disagreements on, like you gotta say what it is and what your position is, your opinion, and then you stick to it. Right? And you stick to it, and you got to be able to talk about it, defend it, whatever it is. But that's really good because even if people don't like you, they may come to you to find out what you're talking about. Like, why are you talking about that? Creating the elements of attractive character, bring in a backstory, speak in parables so that you can share stories about the things you're talking about. Make sure you share the character flaws, show that you're not perfect and that you're real and you're human, and have some polarity. Don't be the same old Joe or Jane. Have something different, have something unique, do something a little wild, a little crazy to shake it up a bit and keep people interested. All right, I'm gonna come back. The next one to talk about the attractive character's identity, and also there's the storylines that come along with the attractive character. These are all different, super important parts that as you build your brand and you build your character, that this goes with it.